Hey, one of the things I want to talk to you about is what I call class demographics. Over the past 40 some years I've been in this business, I've seen a lot of changes. And by that I mean the type of student or the kind of student that shows up for a firearms training program. Remember, most all these programs that I'm involved with and the members of FTA are based around training that's being provided for the private sector, mostly CCW. Customers. A lot of them are interested in home defense. We do have law enforcement and we do have some military. Make no mistake, the military market has been greatly reduced. After 9/11, that market exploded and most of us in the business tapped into it pretty good. That's somewhat faded away. Law enforcement market come and go. We still have a lot of law enforcement officers taking classes. Almost always they're paying for it out of their own pocket. But demographically, like I say, I've seen some changes. And recently what I've noticed is that probably the largest group of people that we see enrolled to take self-defense firearms courses are what I call baby boomers. Generally people that are 50 years of age or older. And remember, they're older and they have different issues that you may not recognize. For example, people over 50 may have some limited mobility issues. Most of them are starting to suffer from some deterioration in vision. Some of them are starting to have things like arthritis problems with their hands and manipulation skills. So it's changed a bit as far as what we've got to watch and what we have to work with. Another group that has increased dramatically in that student base is women. And it used to be if you had a women in class, it was a husband bringing his wife or maybe a girlfriend, and they often didn't want to be there, but they were there because their boyfriend or husband said, you need to take this class. Still see that some, but we have a lot of ladies showing up now because they've accepted the responsibility that they've got to take care of themselves. You know, the old days of where men protected women is gone. Women are waking up and realize their safety is going to be dependent upon them. So a lot of them are getting CCWs and a lot of them that are dialing in say, I need to get training so I know what I'm doing. By the way, women accept the fact they don't know what they're doing and will seek out training. A lot of men, based upon male ego, well, I know how to shoot, I don't need training. And quite often we see people that are, shall we say, a little weak on their skills because they won't accept the fact that they really need professional training. One of the other groups you see now, and this is kind of interesting, we're seeing more and more of what we'll call the millennials, and that term is somewhat misused or sometimes abused. And it's again, it's a different demographic group. They have different habits, different mindset, different approach. But the interesting thing is there's a lot more of the millennials getting into the training field for one reason. They started off playing games. They were the guys who played Call of Duty. They got their introduction to the firearms world through gaming. Then they evolved a lot of them to airsoft, which gave them hands-on. Once they reached the age of, say, 21, where they can go out and legally purchase a handgun, and they've got a job and they can buy ammunition and buy the stuff, and they've got interest in this. A lot of them are, you know, they don't watch TV. They certainly don't read a lot of publications. They're students of the internet. They enroll into firearms class because they want to learn to use real guns. So that's an up-and-coming segment of the student base. And again, those are the demographics I see that are pretty typical. Again, still see some police officers that come and pay for it on their own. And occasionally, depending on where you're at, location-wise in the United States, if there's military installations, you'll often have guys in the military that will sign up and take a class and pay for their own. By the way, those two groups, LE and military, they're gun guys. They're like the guy that's, whether he's a doctor, a lawyer, or a coal miner, he's into guns and into shooting, and they'll pursue the training because that's where their interests are. See that a lot in law enforcement and military as well. But that's the new demographic. And if you're going to be smart as a trainer, you need to look at what the future holds. And I assure you, based on what I've seen, those are some markets you need to be aware of and you need to prepare for.